A child walks into a boxing ring. He's small, he's alone, and waiting for him on the other side, professional wrestlers, full-grown adults, built like walls. The child looks down at his only weapon, a toy mallet. And then, he swings. When Ye dropped Bully on March 28, 2026, most people were talking about Father, the Alien Church video, the Michael Jackson impersonator, Bianca Censori's directorial debut. And look, we covered all of that. That video is incredible. We broke it down fully. But there's another visual on this album that I think people slept on. The title track, Bully, featuring CeeLo Green. Because while Father asks, "Who are you beneath the mask?" Bully answers, "Someone who refuses to stop fighting." And the short film that accompanies it, it might be the most personal thing Ye has ever put on screen. Today, we're going deep on it. Every frame, every symbol, every choice. Let's get into it. Before we even talk about the visual, we need to talk about the word itself, bully. Because this album didn't get its name from a concept. It didn't come from a poem or a lyric or a late-night thought. It came from a playground. Ye's son, Saint West, who was around 10 years old at the time, kicked another child. When asked why, Saint said the kid was weak. And Ye didn't punish him. He named his album after him. Now, before you react, understand what Ye is communicating here. He's not celebrating cruelty. He's celebrating defiance, the refusal to be passive, the refusal to be a victim. Saint didn't see someone being weak and walk away. He responded, aggressively, yes, but with conviction. And that instinct, that refusal to yield, is the entire DNA of this album. Keep that in mind, because it's going to reappear in every single frame of this short film. Here's the first thing that sets Bully apart from every other visual on this project. It's not a music video. It's a short film, directed by Ye himself, edited by Hype Williams, one of the most iconic visual architects in hip-hop history, the man behind iconic videos from Missy Elliott, Jay-Z, Kanye's own Gold Digger. And the choice to make it a film rather than a video is significant. A music video follows the song. It illustrates it, reacts to it. A short film stands beside the song. It tells its own story. It operates independently. Ye isn't explaining Bully, he's expanding it. The song gives you the thesis, the film shows you the proof. And the proof comes in the form of a child with a toy mallet. The very first thing you notice about the Bully short film is that it's in black and white, not stylized black and white. Not filtered, stark, high contrast, pure monochrome. And that choice carries a lot of weight. Black and white strips everything down to its essential truth. There's no color to distract you, no color spectacle, no gloss, just the fight. It also places the film in a visual lineage that includes some of the greatest boxing films ever made: Raging Bull, The Setup, Body and Soul. These are films about men being broken down and choosing to stand back up. Films where the boxing ring is a metaphor for the brutality of simply existing. Ye is deliberately invoking that tradition. He's saying, what you're about to watch is not a stunt. It's not comedy. It's mythology. A child versus professionals, black and white, no music until the song kicks in. You're watching something ancient. The setting of the entire short film is a boxing ring. Not a playground, not a school hallway, a boxing ring. And that's a very deliberate choice. A boxing ring is a contained universe, 4 corners, ropes keeping you in, a referee enforcing rules that ultimately don't protect you from getting hit. You can't run, you can't hide. You step into that ring and you are committed to the fight, to the risk, to the possibility of getting knocked down. Ye has lived in a boxing ring for the last decade of his career. Every time he speaks, every album he drops, every statement he makes, he's back in the center of that ring with the whole world watching, waiting for him to fall. The boxing ring in this film isn't just a setting, it's a self-portrait. And now, the main character, Saint West, Ye's son, 10 years old, standing in the middle of the ring, staring at opponents twice his size, holding a toy mallet. Let's start with the obvious question, why Saint? The answer is threefold. First, Saint is the literal origin of this album's title. The whole project exists because of his refusal to tolerate what he saw as weakness. Casting him in the film completes the circle. Second, Saint is Ye's mirror. When you look at Saint in that ring, you're supposed to see Ye, not the 48-year-old Ye with the controversies and the history. You're supposed to see Ye at the beginning, before the fame, before the fall. Just a kid from Chicago who was told he was too small, too strange, too much to succeed in the industry, and who fought anyway. And third, and this is the most powerful layer, Ye is saying something about legacy, about what he's passing down. Saint doesn't inherit Ye's wealth in this film, or his fame, or his genius. He inherits his fight, his refusal to back down, his willingness to step into the ring even when the odds are impossible. That's the inheritance. And Saint swings the toy mallet like he was born to. Now, let's talk about the toy mallet, because this is where the film gets really interesting. Saint doesn't enter the ring with boxing gloves. He doesn't have a trainer in his corner. He doesn't have the right equipment. He has a toy, a child's toy. And on the surface, that's funny. A kid with a toy mallet fighting professional wrestlers. It sounds like a sketch comedy bit. But watch the film and tell me if it feels like a joke. It doesn't, because the toy mallet is not a symbol of weakness or unpreparedness. It's a symbol of unconventional power. Ye has never fought by the rules. He's never used the right tools. His rollouts are chaotic. His interviews are unpredictable. His albums arrive when nobody expects them in formats nobody asked for. He walks into every ring in the music industry with a toy mallet, and somehow he keeps landing blows. The mallet says, "I don't need your weapons, I'll use mine." Saint's opponents in the ring aren't random big guys. They're New Japan Pro Wrestling athletes, NJPW, one of the most prestigious professional wrestling organizations in the world. Now, why wrestling specifically? Why not boxers? Why not martial arts? Because professional wrestling is performance as much as it is combat. These men are trained to look dominant, to be spectacles, to make the fight look bigger than it is. And that's exactly who Ye has been fighting his entire career. The music industry, the media, public opinion. These forces aren't just powerful, they're theatrical. They're built to intimidate, to make you feel small, to make the fight seem unwinnable before it even starts. The NJPW athletes in this film aren't just physical opponents. They're stand-ins for every institution, every label executive, every critic, every think piece that tried to count Ye out. And Saint, small, armed with a toy mallet, takes them all on. Let's talk about what Hype Williams brings to this film as editor, because the editing of Bully is doing serious work. Hype Williams built his reputation on making things feel larger than life. Wide angles, extreme close-ups, a sense of scale that transforms a music video into a movie. In Bully, he applies that same instinct to a boxing ring. The editing rhythm matches the song's tempo, slow and deliberate in the verses, explosive in the chorus. When CeeLo hits Obey, the cut lands like a punch. When the beat drops, you feel it in the editing. But there's also something else Hype does here that's worth noting. He never cuts away to an audience. There's no crowd reaction, no commentators, no scoreboard. It's just the ring, Saint, and the opponents. That isolation is intentional. The fight isn't for anyone watching. It's not for applause or validation. Saint isn't performing for an audience. He's just fighting because that's what you do. That's the quietest but most powerful statement in the entire film. Now, let's talk about the most provocative element of the song itself and how it connects to the visual. CeeLo Green's chorus, "Obey, do what I say, like it ain't no other way." Over those black and white images of a child refusing to obey anything or anyone. The tension is intentional. CeeLo is voicing the bully, the system, the institution, the force that demands submission, and the visual is simultaneously showing you the answer to that demand, a child who refuses. Saint never obeys in this film. He never yields. He swings the toy mallet at people twice his size and dares them to take him down. The song says obey, the film says no, and that gap between the command and the defiance is where the whole meaning of bully lives. Step back for a second and look at both visuals together. Father, a surrealist church scene, Ye unmasked as an alien, the world going mad around him while he sits blank-faced in the front pew. The question at the heart of it, who are you when the mask comes off? Bully, a black and white boxing ring, Saint West with a toy mallet,